Years, an extraordinary civilization thrived in the northeastern corner of Africa, an ancient world shaped by stone, sand, and the sacred waters of the Nile. Ancient Egypt, often remembered for its colossal pyramids and enigmatic mummies, was far more than a kingdom of tombs. It was a society of immense complexity, profound spirituality, and astonishing innovation. This land, bounded by deserts and seas, found its pulse in the Nile River, a ribbon of life stretching over 6,600 kilometers. Each year, the river flooded predictably, leaving behind nutrient-rich silt that transformed the surrounding valley into a lush, green corridor amidst an otherwise harsh and arid landscape. Agriculture flourished. Wheat, barley, flax, and papyrus grew in abundance, supporting one of the first centralized states in human history. It is no coincidence that the phrase, "Egypt is the gift of the Nile," attributed to the Greek historian Herodotus, still echoes through time. By around 3100 BCE, Egypt was unified under its first king, Narmer, also known as Menes, who combined the land of Upper and Lower Egypt into a single kingdom. This marked the dawn of the early dynastic period, the beginning of nearly 30 centuries of pharaonic rule. The pharaoh was not merely a monarch, but a living god, regarded as a divine representative of the gods on earth, especially the sky god Horus. The pharaoh's role was both political and spiritual. He maintained Ma'at, a sacred order that balanced the forces of chaos and harmony in the world. From the palaces of Memphis to the temples of Thebes, pharaohs built massive structures to immortalize their names and cement their divine authority. The Old Kingdom, often called the Age of the Pyramids, began around 2686 BCE and witnessed architectural feats unparalleled in the ancient world. The most iconic of these is the Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu. Standing at nearly 150 meters tall and composed of over 2 million limestone blocks, it remains the only surviving wonder of the ancient world. But these were not mere tombs. They were resurrection machines, designed with celestial alignments, hidden chambers, and passageways intended to aid the pharaoh's soul in its eternal journey through the afterlife. Accompanying the pyramids were complex mortuary temples, causeways, and subsidiary tombs for nobles and high officials. Egyptians believed in life after death with conviction that permeated all levels of society. Death was not feared but prepared for. The body, they believed, was the vessel for the Ka, or life force, which needed preservation to survive in the afterlife. Thus began the practice of mummification, a detailed and sacred process involving the removal of organs, drying of the body with natron, wrapping in linen, and final interment with amulets, food, furniture, and sacred texts like the Book of the Dead. This collection of spells and incantations served as a guide through the dangerous landscapes of the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, where the deceased would face trials before the gods. The Middle Kingdom, emerging around 2055 BCE, is often remembered for its flourishing art, literature, and expansion into Nubia, a region rich in gold and resources. Egyptian tales, such as the story of Sinew, provide insight into the values and emotions of the time. Rulers like Senusret III initiated public works, irrigation systems, and strengthened central authority. Yet, with prosperity came vulnerability. In time, the centralized government weakened, and foreign invaders known as the Hyksos gained control of parts of northern Egypt. From this disruption rose a new kingdom, beginning around 1550 BC, the golden age of empire, wealth, and international influence. It was during this period that Egypt became a true superpower. Pharaohs like Thutmose III led military campaigns deep into the Levant, while Queen Hatshepsut, one of the few female rulers, brought peace, prosperity, and monumental architecture, including her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri. Perhaps the most famous pharaoh of this period was Akhenaten, who instigated one of history's earliest recorded monotheistic movements. Abandoning the traditional pantheon, he declared worship of a single sun deity, the Aten, and moved the capital to a new city, Akhetaten. His rule, though revolutionary, was short-lived and widely rejected after his death. Akhenaten's son, the boy king Tutankhamun, restored the old gods but died young. His tomb, discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, captivated the world with its wealth and mystery. Despite Tutankhamun's relative insignificance in Egyptian history, the preservation of his nearly intact burial chamber offered unparalleled insights into royal life death, and material culture. Meanwhile, the last great ruler of the New Kingdom, Ramses II, also known as Ramses the Great, embodied the might of Egypt. He led battles against the Hittites, built more temples than any other pharaoh, and ruled for over 6 decades. Religion in ancient Egypt was deeply ingrained in everyday life. The gods and goddesses were many: Ra, the sun god; Isis, the healer; Osiris, lord of the afterlife; Thoth, god of wisdom and writing; Anubis, guardian of the dead. Temples like Karnak and Luxor were not places of congregational worship like modern churches, but homes to the gods, tended by priests who conducted rituals, offerings, and processions. These temples were microcosms of the universe, reflecting creation myths and sacred order through their layout and symbolism. Beyond religion and royalty, ancient Egyptian society was diverse and well-structured. Farmers formed the backbone of the economy, while craftsmen, artists, and scribes created the goods and records that sustained the state. Education and literacy were highly prized, especially for scribes, who could rise in status and wealth. Women enjoyed more rights than in many contemporary societies. They could own property, initiate divorce, and even become pharaoh, as Hatshepsut and later Cleopatra VII would demonstrate. Culturally, the Egyptians were innovators. They developed complex mathematics, practical medicine based on observation, and advanced engineering techniques. Their art, characterized by clarity, balance, and symbolism, remained remarkably consistent for millennia. Hieroglyphics, the sacred script of the temples, were used for official inscriptions, while simpler scripts like hieratic and demotic served administrative and literary purposes. As the first millennium BCE unfolded, Egypt's power waned. Internal division and invasion from Libyans, Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians destabilized the kingdom. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, marking the beginning of the Greco-Roman period. Alexandria, a new city bearing his name, became a center of learning, culture, and science, home to the legendary Library of Alexandria. Even as Egypt came under Roman control in 30 BCE after the death of Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh and one of history's most enigmatic figures, the influence of ancient traditions persisted. Today, ancient Egypt continues to fascinate not just for its monumental achievements, but for its vision of life, death, and eternity. Its legacy endures in architecture, astronomy, medicine, and the very foundations of civilization. The pyramids still rise against the desert sky, and the mummies still lie in silence, preserved for millennia. This civilization, born of river and sun, shaped by gods and kings, remains a testament to human creativity and the eternal desire to leave a mark on time.